Well, it's always good to be home. Amen? You all can have your seats. I just want to, before I start, reiterate what my husband had said. It's a pleasure, an honor, and a privilege to be here this weekend to share with you. And we really thank Bishop and Pastor AJ for the opportunity to be able to do this. And we trust that as we do it, your hearts will be blessed, you will receive knowledge, and you will go higher in the name of Jesus. All right, so with everything aside, I told them they don't need to time me, but they can still do. We're going to start. So the first law I'm going to be dealing with is law number 14, and it's titled the law of buy-in. Buy-in, buy-in. And just as it says, it means you have to buy into something. All right, and it says, first of all, people buy into the leader first, then the vision. People buy into the leader first, then the vision. The leader finds the dream, and then the people. The people find the leader, and then the dream. People don't at first follow worthy causes. They follow worthy leaders who promote causes they believe in. So the key of buying in is, first, they must buy into you as a leader. And the question you need to ask is, do you give people a reason to follow you as a leader? Is it a valid enough reason for them to want to follow you? And as we go through, you would see that a lot of things that my husband would have shared probably yesterday and today would come into this. Because the first thing that it says here is, as a leader, if you have not built credibility with your people, it doesn't matter how great your vision is, they will not follow you. And we heard a lot about credibility and how we can build credibility. So if they don't believe in you, if you can't build credibility with them, no matter what you do, no matter how grandiose your ideas are, your vision is, they will not follow you. And we share this in law number 2, and it was one of the 7 factors of leadership that he spoke about in terms of character. Your character has a lot to do with people buying into you and into your vision. So what does your character say about you? What type of character do you have? When they look at you, what do they see? What do you depict to them? Every message people receive is filtered through the messenger who delivers it. So if you are delivering a message to them, it's coming through you. And what's his name? John Maxwell said, that's one of the reasons why they use athletes and superstars and actors to promote products. Because, for example, a Jordan sneakers, people are not so much interested in these sneakers, but because they have already bought into the idea of Jordan, they buy these sneakers. So buying in, the message that you are giving, if Jordan says this sneakers is the best, people believe and people rush and people buy it. So the message that you are giving, that you are delivering, is filtered through you. If the messenger, that is you as a leader, if you are considered credible, then it is believed that the message you are giving has some value. So then they would want to connect with you and that message. And leaders cannot be separated from their message or their vision. It goes hand in hand. They cannot be separated from their vision. And I have 3 or 4 points here. It says this. When followers don't like the leader or the vision, what do? They look for another leader. So they don't like you as a leader. They don't like the vision that you're giving them. They're going to go elsewhere and look for another leader. When followers don't like the leader, but like the vision, they still look for another leader. Because remember, you have to buy into the leader first before you can buy into the vision. And in sports, the vision of a team remains the same. You know, when you have like a basketball team or a football team, and for those of you all who are sports enthusiasts like me, you would follow like NBA and those kind of things, and you'd see a lot of times they would be changing coaches and stuff. Now, do they ever change the team members? They change the coach. Why? Because the vision of the team stays the same. But if the coach cannot get the buy-in from the players to be able to work with him to get that vision to be accomplished, they're going to change the coach. So if they like the leader, but if they don't like the leader, but they like the vision, they still look for another leader. So the owner or the manager of the team would look for another coach. Someone who has leadership abilities, who they believe credible, and who would be able to relate to their players well. When followers like the leader, but not the vision, they change the vision. So if they like the leader, but the vision, not so much, they will do one of two things. They will try to convince the leader to change the vision. Now, they like the leader, so they don't want to leave the leader, but they will try to convince him to change the vision. Or sometimes they might just abandon their own point of view and go with what the leader is saying because they like the leader. Or they might find a compromise, a middle ground between the two. But as long as they like the leader, they would not outrightly reject the leader. They will hang around. And then the final one says, when the followers like the leader and the vision, they get behind both. So no matter how bad the conditions get, no matter what is facing them, they will continue to follow the leader. It's not on the handout, so just hold on for me. It's not in the handout. All right? So as long as they like the leader, they like the vision, they're going to stick on there. Now, as leaders, we have to become better leaders. And how we do that, we must get people to buy into us and our vision. That is the price we pay for wanting our vision to become a reality. Now, honestly, if we are leaders and we have a vision and we don't have anybody following us, what are we doing? Like Bishop usually says, it's just us taking a walk. Right? So we must have people to buy into us and our vision in order for it to become a reality. And some of the ways that we build credibility with individuals, and that would be living the law. So a leader must develop relationships. You must develop relationships in order to be able to get people to understand where you're coming from and to be able to buy into you. If I don't know Elder Alex and I'm just seeing him and he's a leader, in order for me to be able to connect with what he's doing, he has to develop a relationship with me. I can't just see somebody off the street and say, well, I'm going to follow that person. I don't know where the person is going. So I must be able to develop a relationship with whoever it is that I want to be able to connect with me and my vision. A leader must be honest, authentic, and develop trust. Honest, authentic, and develop trust. And the persons who you are trying to get to buy into you must be able to see that. You must be honest in your dealings with them, the way you relate to them. You must be real, like my husband said, what you see is what you get. It's not one thing you're showing them and then behind closed doors it's something else. What you see is what you get. Be honest and authentic and, of course, trustworthiness. Leaders must hold themselves to high standards. Must hold themselves to high standards. Give people the proper tools. So whatever it is you want them to do, you must be able to provide them with whatever is needed in order for them to accomplish the task that you give them. Help followers achieve their goals. Right? It's not just, yes, okay, we're connecting for a vision, but each individual also have goals. So you must be able to help them achieve their personal goals as well. It's not just what's in best interest for me, but it's what's in the best interest for us. And, of course, develop their leadership, which is what we are doing here. Develop their leadership. All right, and some of the things that you can ask yourself: does my vision resonate with people? When they hear my vision or when I share my vision with them, what does it do to them? What does it do to them? Does it resonate with them? And recognize that the order of buying is first who, then why, not the other way around. So it's who, the leader first, and then the vision. If the why is big enough, that's if the vision is big enough, then the how will come to us. How we will accomplish the vision will come to us. As long as the why is big enough, the how we're going to accomplish it is going to come. And then am I giving people time to buy in? And John Maxwell spoke about his second leadership position, I think it was, that he took over at a church. And when he got there, they were planning to, they wanted to build an activity center, but he said he knew at that point in time what they needed was a new auditorium. Now recognize that he's now coming in. So they don't know him, he doesn't really know them. So instead of coming and shutting down their idea, okay, that we're not going to build the activity center, we're going to build an auditorium. What he did is that he allowed them to look into the possibility of the activity center, how it would benefit them, how it would benefit the community. And throughout the year, while they were doing that, he actually put a committee together to do that, and they would be reporting to him every month. While he was doing that, he was taking time to get to know the leaders. So he would he would spend time with the leaders, seek them out, find out their responsibilities, how they were going along and all that. So while they were still doing their research, he was building relationship with them. And in building relationship with them, they started buying into him. Eventually, at the end of it, what happened was that he did not tell them. They eventually saw that they didn't need the activity center, that they needed the auditorium, and they went with it. But if he had just come in and didn't give them an opportunity to get to know him, he would not have been able to accomplish that. So give people time to buy into you. And how we do that? Remember we said, build relationships, develop relationships. And then, is my vision truly right for others? So you need to know who you can connect with to ensure that your vision is accomplished. It's not everybody, not because someone is your friend. You say, come along with me, you can help me do this. That person may not be the right person to help your vision to be accomplished. So you have to know who your vision is right for. Right? And that's basically the law of buy-in. All right, so we're going to go on to the second one, and it's the law of victory. Now, we are called victory. So this is something that we need to walk in. And you will recognize that as we have done some of the laws before and we're doing now, there are some that you would already be walking in, that would be operating in your life. But there are some that you know that you need to work on. Right? So the law of victory. And the law of victory says, leaders find a way for the team to win. Leaders find a way for the team to win. Victorious leaders refuse to accept defeat. How many of us are victorious leaders here? Well then, refuse to accept defeat. Do all you can to find a way to win. Great leaders find a way to win. There is a mindset that says losing is not an option, winning is mandatory. Losing is not an option, winning is mandatory. But what can change this mindset? There are things that can change this mindset. And some people will say, well, but I've tried everything and there's no way I can win. But winning is mandatory. And the first thing that can change it is the leader's resolve. The leader's stick-to-itiveness. Is the leader going to stick on and hold on and do whatever is necessary to ensure that victory comes? Or is the leader at one point in time just going to fold up, pack up and say, you see me, I done? The leader's resolve. So we have to know as a leader ourselves, are we going to stick to it until the victory comes? Unity of vision. Victory will only come when there's a unified vision. If team leaders, or like in our case, department members, have a different agenda to the department leader, there is no unity of vision. There is no way we can succeed in what we want to accomplish. There must be unity of vision. right? There's one vision for the department. Yes, we said help others to accomplish their goals, right? But the goals must not be separating us from what the department is doing. Diversity of skills. Now it says there, surround yourself with people who believe like you, believe and think different. Surround yourself with people who believe like you believe and think different thoughts. For example, if a football team had all goalkeepers, or if a netball team all had shoots and no defenders. So your team must comprise of people with different gifts, talents, and abilities. So that as you work together, you would be able to accomplish more. Diversity of skills. The newer you are to leadership and the stronger your natural ability is, the more likely you are to overlook the members of the team. Don't fall into this trap. Now, as we do priorities, you will realize that some leaders, we can do it all. We're good at a lot of things, and we tend to overlook the other people on the team who can do things, and we tend to do it ourselves. But when we do that, we are being detrimental to our own selves. Right? Because we're not allowing the team members to grow. We're not giving them the opportunity to do what is needed. Everyone on the team has a unique talent or gift to offer that will help the team to be victorious. And that's something that we have to recognize. You're not an island, and the people around you are just not around you for being around your sake. They're there for a purpose. Right? So don't overlook them and think that, okay, well, I can do it on my own. If you can do it on your own, then there's no need to have them around. But then again, if you're on your own, you'll be just taking a walk. So what do you want? Do you want to be taking a walk, or do you want to be developing leaders like yourself? Leaders who practice the law of victory have no plan B. That's why they keep on fighting. You know, normally we say if plan A don't work, we go to plan B. And if plan B don't go work, some people have plan C. Leaders who practice the law of victory have no plan B. It's one plan. And they stick to that plan and see it through to the end. Raising team members to their potential. We spoke about that also in buy-in. Raising team members to their potential. Letting them develop their potential and know where they are. And then you know and utilize each team member's strengths. Every team member has strengths. Somebody is strong in doing one thing that somebody else is not. And in a circle, I think that was one that my husband just did. Surround your people who can do different things. So when you all come together, you all create something good. It's not everybody with the same talent that you're looking for. You're not going to look, okay, for example, in an office, you're not going to look for 5 typists to fill out your staff. You don't have so much typing work to do in the office, but you're going to look for people who can do different things in the office that can help enhance the services that you provide. So know and utilize each team member's strength. And how are you going to know their strengths? Obviously, by developing a relationship with them, you'll be able to understand their strengths and know their strengths and then know how to use it. All right? All right. Leading others to the law of victory. And it simply says, leadership is responsible. Losing is unacceptable. Passion is unquenchable. Creativity is essential. Quitting is unthinkable. Commitment is unquestionable. And victory is inevitable. So leadership is responsible. You must be responsible as a leader. And like we said, losing is definitely not a word in our vocabulary. Losing is totally unacceptable. And there must be a passion within you that is unquenched, something that you desire to accomplish. That's nobody and nothing, no disappointment, nothing that can quench it. That you're going to hold on to it and make sure it comes to pass. Creativity, you must have ideas, new ideas to do things. You're not doing the same things all the same time, doing the same thing the same way all the time and expecting a different result is insanity. So you must be creative in things that you come up with new ideas of doing things, new ways of doing things to accomplish what you have to accomplish. Quitting is unthinkable. We are not quitters. Commitment is unquestionable. And when you commit to something, you commit and you hold on to it. You don't let go of it. You commit to it and you move on with it. And of course, law of victory. Victory is inevitable as we lead others in these things. Amen? All right. How am I doing so far? That's two down. All right. Now, the next one we have is the big mo. It's called the law of momentum, or the big mo. M-O. And what is momentum? Momentum is the force of speed, or the force or speed of movement. It is an impetus which is needed to bring success. Momentum is the force or speed of movement, and it is the impetus which is needed to bring success. There's a quotation here that says, at the beginning of it, it says, you can't steer a ship that isn't moving forward. It takes a leader to create forward motion. You can't steer a ship that isn't moving forward. It takes a leader to create forward motion. And John Maxwell says this. He says, momentum is a leader's best friend. And why is momentum a leader's best friend? Because sometimes it's the difference between winning and losing. Now, I'm a sports fan, so I will always use sports examples. Sports. I'm a tennis fan. I've introduced my husband to tennis, so he watches tennis a lot with me. I have a lot of time, so I could ramble. I actually save 5 minutes before. Right. So tennis. So we would normally watch, like the Australian Open is coming up soon, so we'll watch that. But we would watch like two tennis players playing, let's say women or men, Djokovic and Murray. And they would be playing, and you would see the score, and then you would see probably Djokovic. All of a sudden, his score is racking up, and Murray is. But I finished already. I started the other one. Anyway, right. So Djokovic's score is racking up, and Murray's is staying in one place. And it's because there was a momentum swing. And Djokovic is just going. And sometimes, now how they usually play the tennis, you would play 2 games, and once the scores add up to an uneven number, you take a break. So you sit. And sometimes during that break, when they sit and they come back out, the momentum swings. And that's why we said sometimes the difference between winning and losing. As long as you can keep the momentum, you win. In a team sports, for example, like basketball or football, well, no, not football, basketball, you would see a team winning. Lakers, for example. Lakers, I'm a Lakers fan, okay. Lakers, winning. I know they've been on the losing end for some time now, but let's say they're winning. Hypothetically, they're winning, right? And let's say they're playing Bulls, right? Oh, hypothetically. All right? Now, what the coach for the Bulls would do, because now Lakers has a momentum, he would call a timeout to break their momentum. Right? And see if they would now pick it up. Because if they don't do that, they're going to lose. Right? So momentum is the difference between winning and losing. When you have no momentum, even the simplest task seems impossible. The simplest task seems impossible. Small problems seem like insurmountable objects. Morale becomes low. How many times we see team players, their shoulder just drop and they... Yeah, because morale is... Right, morale becomes low, and what is ahead seems dark. It seems like if there's nowhere for them to go. An organization with no momentum is like a train at a dead stop, going nowhere. Can't move, can't go anywhere, can't advance, can't do anything. But on the opposite side, when an organization has momentum, the future looks bright. Obstacles appear small, and troubles seem inconsequential. And it's like a train moving at 60 miles per hour. So that's the difference between having momentum and not having momentum. All right, in learning the law, it says momentum is the great exaggerator. And why it says great exaggerator? Because it looks like you're doing so much, but it's the momentum that's pushing you. So you may be making small steps, but because you have the momentum on your side, it looks like you're accomplishing so much. That's why he calls it the great exaggerator. Momentum makes the leader look better than they are. When leaders have momentum on their side, people think they are geniuses. Momentum changes everyone's perspective of leaders. Because as the leader has momentum and he's accomplishing, it makes, in people's eyes, it makes them look, wow, he's a good leader. He's doing everything right. Once a leader creates success and young leaders often get less credit than they deserve because they have little or no momentum. And why is that? Because they're now starting out. No experience whatsoever. So they're now starting out. So they have to create their own momentum. Right? So even though they may be accomplishing, to those who have gone or who are ahead of them, it's like, slow your roll now. You know, there was one example that he used, was it Disney? Yeah. There was a young animator who came to Disney. And of course, Walt Disney was in business before. And he had new ideas and everything. And they actually told him, hey, hear what? Sit down and relax yourself. Maybe after you work for 20 years, then we could start to take you on. Because he was new. But he had the idea. So he now left and he created his own momentum. And he became better than what they are. Right? But they told him, sit down and relax yourself. And that is why we say young leaders get less credit. The older people, even though they work, the older ones will take the credit. Because it's they who have been there. Once a leader creates success and develops career momentum, then people give him more credit than he deserves. More credit than he deserves. One word that can help you enjoy the fruit of your labor to build momentum without letting it destroy you is gratitude. Gratitude. We must be grateful at all times. Never take it for granted. Because like we explain in the sports, you can't lose the momentum. So you always need to be grateful in order to enjoy the fruit of your labor. Even average people can perform better when there's momentum. The initial work is the toughest for the least results. Know it, understand it, and protect every bit of momentum you build. When leadership is strong and there's momentum in the organization, people are motivated and inspired to perform at higher levels. Once they are motivated, they know there's momentum in the organization. If it's an organization and everybody come to work every day and then everybody just sits at their desk and looks at each other and they don't know what's going on. But if there's somebody, if it has the organization, there's somebody who's motivating them and driving them, they will want to work even more and perform at a higher level in order to accomplish. Momentum is easier. Number 4, momentum is easier to steer than to start. Getting started is a struggle, but once you're moving forward, you can really start to do some amazing things. Momentum just doesn't happen. But once it gets going, it's easier to steer it. Momentum is a powerful change agent. It is imperative that we understand how best to help our clients initiate change. And again, we saw that in sports, how momentum can shift in the result of something. When we are winning, nothing hurts. Who has ever been winning and, you know, have you ever seen, okay, I always use this example, sports again. Gymnastics, I think it was Atlanta 1996 Olympics. USA, Kerry Shrug, that was her name. And USA Gymnastics was winning the gold medal in the team competition. And she had to do the last vault. And she did her first vault. Back then they used to do 2 vaults. She did her first vault. And she came up like this. And then she walked off. Nobody paid attention. And she walked, like she didn't say anything to anybody. She walked. And she walked back to the start. And the first vault she did, it wasn't good enough for them to have won the gold medal. And she did her second vault. And as she landed, she did this, and she just dropped. And the coaches, and they ran, and only to realize, I think she had, was it a sprain? She had fractured her foot from the first vault. But she ran, and she did that second vault, and USA won. Perfect score. When we are winning, nothing hurts. Nothing hurts. You put all that behind you. When you are winning, nothing hurts. And that's something that we have to begin to develop. Not because, okay, we're winning, but a little obstacle come. We start to cry about it. We are winning. Nothing hurts. We keep going. We don't let anything deter us. We keep going. Momentum is the leader's responsibility. Now, we've been talking about it's easy to steer and start as a change agent and all that. But it's the leader's responsibility to create momentum. The leader creates momentum, and the followers can catch it. Creating momentum requires someone with a vision, someone who can assemble a good team, and someone who can motivate others. If as a leader you are looking for someone to motivate you, then the organization you are working with is in trouble. And if you as a leader, you are waiting for the organization to develop momentum on its own, the organization is also in trouble. Because it's you as the leader who has to create the momentum. Now, we normally hear the phrase, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. This one says, if you can't make the heat, get out of the kitchen. If you can't make the momentum, then who is going to make it for you? So if you can't make the heat, then get out of the kitchen. Simply saying, if you can't make the momentum, then probably there's nowhere for you to be a leader. Momentum begins inside the leader. It begins with vision, passion, and enthusiasm. It starts with energy. And Eleanor Dawn says this: you cannot kindle a fire in any other heart until it is burning within your own. And that's where I end the law of the big move. All right, and my final one, which is my pet one. And I know my husband was so glad. He was saying, when we were doing our sessions, we were given opportunities to prepare one of the lessons and come and share. Right? And I chose this one just because it was available. I chose it. And he was also glad that I chose this one after. And I know Bishop Ibelme will understand why when I finish. All right. The law of priorities. The law of priorities. To prioritize means to designate or treat something as being of most importance, determining the order for dealing with tasks according to their relative importance. To arrange or deal with in order of importance. And I have a number of others, meaning the same thing. Leaders understand that activity is not necessarily accomplishment. You could be doing 1,000,001 things, but you're not accomplishing anything. Many of us believe that when we are busy, we are achieving or accomplishing. Busyness is not achieving anything. Busyness does not equal productivity. Being active does not necessarily mean accomplishing. We can be active and accomplish absolutely nothing. And women will bear me witness. See, I'm a woman, so I will use a woman example. Saturday morning, like he said in Tobago, we like to clean and make soup. I don't make soup. I'm not one of these soup lovers. But we like to clean. And we decide, okay, this weekend I'm doing a general cleaning. Right, women? And we say, okay, we started in the bedroom. And we start in the bedroom, right? And something happened and we had to go outside and we pass by the kitchen. Oh, God, look at that mess. We forget bedroom, Kitchen. And then we're in the kitchen and then something else happened. We had to go oh, God, look where these children leave this. And we go in the dining room. At the end of the day, we accomplish nothing. We've been busy all day, but we've accomplished nothing because we didn't prioritize. That's the law of priorities. Leaders never advance to a point where we no longer need to prioritize. Prioritizing requires leaders to think ahead, to know what's important, to know what's next, and to see how everything relates to their overall vision. I'll repeat that. Prioritizing requires leaders to think ahead, to know what's important, to know what's next, and to see how everything relates to overall vision. Prioritizing causes us to do things that are uncomfortable and sometimes painful. And why we say that? Because in prioritizing, sometimes we want to do certain things, but it's not necessary for us to do those things at that particular time. And we just have to leave it because it's not important. Remember, prioritizing, we deal with things in order of their importance. This law is the lever that instead of focusing on getting more done, a great leader gets the right things done. Yes, we have a lot of things to do, but if we prioritize, we know what are the right things to be done at the right time. And my husband will get into the law of timing. That's one of the things. You need to know when is the right thing to get done. Leadership has nothing to do with comfort and everything to do with progress. Sometimes you say, oh gosh, I really have to do that thing, but oh God, I think this gives me a headache. But it has to be done. It has nothing to do with comfort but progress. How are we moving forward with the things that we have in front of us? What are we doing? And one of the things that comes into play is the Pareto principle. And I first learned this in School of Ministry with Bishop, the 80-20 rule. In leadership, this translates to focusing on the activities that rank in the top 20% in terms of importance. And you will have an 80% return on your efforts. So what you do, you list everything that you have to do and you deal with the top 20%. So if it's 10 things on your list, the top 20% will be the top 2. That's what you focus on, and that is where your greatest rewards, your greatest returns are going to come. Leading others to the law. We talk about 3 R's. What is required, what gives the greatest returns, and what brings the greatest rewards. Now, what is required? What must I do that nobody can or should do for me? We are accountable to people and responsible for others. However, when prioritizing, let our list always begin with what is required of us. Not necessarily what we want to do. Listen to it, it's not what we want to do. What is required of us. In order to do this or to know this, ask yourself the question, What must I do that nobody can or should do for me? What should I do? What must I do that nobody can or should do for me? If you're doing something that is not necessary, eliminate it. If you're doing something that's necessary but not required of you personally, delegate it. So when you do that, it frees you up to do the things that you ought to be doing. What gives me the greatest returns? What am I doing that can be done at least 80% as well as someone else? Leaders should spend most of their time working in their areas of greatest strength. It has been found through research that people are more productive and content when working within their natural gifting and strengths. So if you know what you are strong in, if you're doing that, that's when you are more content, that's when you are more productive. For me, put me in front of a computer and I could work whole day. Put me in front of a computer and I could work whole day. I don't need to break for lunch, I don't need to break for nothing. I'm happy. And especially if it's a challenge, I love it even more. And my husband explained, he would tell you technical things at home. We got a new TV. You don't worry. The TV get put together, the TV get programmed. He sit down, he watch. Because those are the things that I enjoy. Those are the things that bring me joy. Those are the things that I'm content doing. And he doesn't rob me of my happiness, so. If something I'm doing can be done 80% as well by someone else, delegate it. That was my problem. Well, it's it's getting better, let me put it that way. Because I'm a perfectionist. So if it's not done to the way that exactly that I want it, I find I should do it. But then if the person could do it at least 80% as well as they're on the road, then I can train them to bring it up to the level of where I want it to be. And that's what we need to do. Develop and train someone to handle it, not because you can do something means you should do it. So leaders, we need to release a lot of the things that we're holding on to. We need to release it to the people around us. That's why we have them there. Right? Let them be able to help us accomplish. What brings the greatest rewards? And this talks about personal satisfaction. Find time for the things you love doing. Why? Because passion provides the fuel in a person's life to keep him going. If there's a passion in your life, you continue going. You don't stop. Right? As the leader, it is a terrific advantage to be in a place to choose what you do, isn't it? Rather than being told what to do, as a leader, you can choose what to do. It is the responsibility of leaders to make tough decisions based on priorities. These decisions may not always be popular with others and can make the leader unpopular with his followers. But it's necessary for you as a leader, based on priorities, to make those tough decisions on what you should handle. And remember, your top 20% of any task you have will bring 80% returns. Thank you very much.